So imagine you're a K-pop fan who likes listening to K-pop songs, and then you happen to come across this radio station. You might think this is some average music station blasting K-pop songs often, but then as you keep listening to it, this happens right after the song ends. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect.
1973호 1973호 전문 받으세요.
This is V24, a number station thought to be operating from, unsurprisingly, the Republic of Korea, commonly known as South Korea. If you aren't familiar with number stations, let me tell you what they are. In a nutshell, they are shortwave radio stations run by international intelligence agencies that transmit messages to spies in the form of numbers, usually in groups of 5 digits, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 0, 2, 9, 3, 4, 8, 5, 7, 6, and so on. Although they are unlicensed, unlike with the case of pirated radio stations which have regular programming, these stations were shut by governments, which leads us to believe that number stations most likely have a deep association with them. In nature, number stations don't really have actual names, unless one of them has some sort of call sign. Instead, radio enthusiasts normally have to name a particular station after its interval signal, such as the infamous Lincolnshire Poacher run by the United Kingdom's Secret Intelligence Service, the Swedish Rhapsody from formerly communist Poland, and the Gong station run by the National People's Army of the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. The European Numbers Information Gathering and Monitoring Association, or the Enigma for short, utilizes a convenient system for classifying number stations, using prefix letters to identify the kind of station. For example, E is used for broadcasts in the English language, G is used for stations broadcasting in German, S is used for broadcasts in Slavic languages, such as Russian, Polish, or Serbian, V signifies broadcasts in all other languages, M signifies broadcasts in Morse code, and so on. V24, the one I'll be discussing in this video, falls under the, well, V category. The letter V here most likely stands for various, according to my theory, as there aren't many stations found to be broadcasting in languages such as Spanish or French, as with the case of English and German, which have a lot of number stations. V24 isn't the only known number station which broadcasts in Korean, as there is V15 from neighboring North Korea. Now, V24 happens to be one of the most fascinating number stations in my opinion, because of its unusually bizarre format. In the past, it wasn't uncommon for number stations to include music in its broadcasts, usually before or after the message has been transmitted. In this case, in the 1970s, when disco, platform shoes, and bell-bottoms were all the rage, there was a French number station called the Tyrolean Music Station, which was actually in German, believe it or not. Before properly commencing transmissions, the station would air Tyrolean music pieces, hence the name, which would later transition to the creepiest rendition of the popular communist anthem, the Internationale, and then finally the proper message would be broadcast. I can't play the songs aired on the station for obvious reasons, but this was how the station would broadcast.
Helmut, Hans. Helmut, Hans. Guten Tag. Größen 26 bis 32 passen mir gut. Die Sonne scheint herrlich. Unsere Henne ist dabei, ein Ei zu legen.
Another example of something like this is G20, which would use several classical music pieces as its interval signals. These were used to identify something called Spruchnummer. For instance, Brahms' Waltz was played by Spruchnummer 3, the Mexican Head Dance was played by Spruchnummer 4, and so on. Again, I'm unable to demonstrate the audio of these stations due to copyright related reasons, so I'll just leave links in the description so you could get the idea later on. Back to V24. According to Prium.com, which is where I get most of my knowledge on number stations from, V24 was first reported in the 1970s. It had utilized numerous genres of music for its interval signals, ranging from classical, North Korean folk, Western, to eventually Korean pop. These stations broadcast on numerous frequencies, each reserved for a distinct introductory song, given only 3 occurrences each month, and selected schedules, which sometimes could be really inconsistent. Once again, for very obvious reasons, I cannot play them in this video, but I'll be telling you later which songs the stations had played on its frequencies. But first, let's look at the format of the station. Oh, hi there. So, I found a bunch of sources about the station that I could find so far. So the thing is, if I demonstrate it like this, it would be much easier for you guys to understand more about this station. So this right here is the information about the station, which is on Prium.com. It's another number station related website called numberstations.com. Just basically the same thing, the station structure and shit. But what about the format of the actual frequencies themselves? So the thing is, the station operates, just like I said, the station operates in multiple frequencies, on multiple frequencies. So this might not be entirely accurate, but I got this data from radio.chobi.net, or Now on the Radio. So this is basically how all these frequencies operate each month. So this is for January 2017. So all these frequencies operate from a 2 to 4 p.m. time spectrum. All of these are in UTC, Universal Coordinated Time. So here's the thing. Here's how each of these frequencies work. So the first frequency that will be active in this month, in that month, would be 6310 kilohertz. And then on the second day of the month, no frequency will be active. On the third day of the month, 5290 kilohertz will go active for the first time. Then 6310 will go on the air the second time in the month. So then on the 4th, no frequency will be active. Then on the 5th, 5290 will be active again. And then for the first time, 6215 will go on the air. 63, and speaking of 6310, the station would go on the air at 3:30 p.m. Meanwhile, 5290 would go on the air on 2:30 p.m. 6215 will go on the air at 3 p.m. Then on the 6th, no frequency will be active. Then on the 7th, 5290 would broadcast for their last time for the month at 2:30 p.m. And then 6215 will be active again for the second time for the month. Then The following day, 6310, would cease broadcasting for the month after this broadcast. So the thing is, every broadcast, I think, lasts about 10 minutes. So, yeah. So then on the 9th, 6215 would also bid farewell to the air until next month. Then on the 10th, no frequency will be active. Then on the 11th, both 4925 and 5115 kilohertz would go on the air. 4925 at 2:30, and then 5115, in case you can't see, at 4 p.m. And then the next day, no frequency will be active. Basically, 4925 and 5115 almost align. Take a look at their schedules. They almost align together. They almost align with one another. That's a bit convenient. However, don't get me wrong, 6310 still very inconvenient. Then on the 12th, no frequency will be active. 13, these two would go on the air again. Then on the 15th, no frequency will be on the 14th, no frequency will be active. On the 15th, 4925 would go on the air for the last time for the month, but 5115 won't. 5115's broadcasts would be delayed by a day. And instead, 5900 would go on the air for the first time. Then the following day, 15115 would air its final broadcast for the month. Then the following day, the 17th day of the month, no frequency will be active. Then the 18th, 5150 would go on the air for the first time. In case you can't see, 5150. And then, on the other hand, 5900 would cease broadcasts for the month. No, never mind. It would go on the air. I'll go on the air for the second time for the month. Then the following day, 5715 will be activated. Then the following day, 20, no frequency will be active. Then the following day, 5150 and 5715 would go on the air for the second time. Then on the 22nd, 5900 would no longer be on the air for the month after this broadcast. Then the following day, 4900 would be activated at 3:30 p.m. Then the following day, the 24th day of the month, no frequency would be activated. Then the 25th day of the month, 5150 would finish its broadcasts for the month. But 4900 would continue broadcasting. This is its second time. Then the 26th day of the month, 5715 would wrap up its broadcasts for the month. And then finally, on the 27th day of the month, V15 would completely stop broadcasting for the month after 4900 wrapped up its broadcasts. So after this broadcast, for 4 days from the 28th to the 31st days of the month, no message would ever be transmitted by the station. That is until next month. And this cycle would keep repeating every single month. So that's basically how V24 works. So basically, the station's frequencies had either straightforward or absolutely inconsistent schedules. Like I said, they used many songs throughout its lifespan as its interval signals, including, as of October 2016, Me Gustas Tu by G-Friend on 5290 kHz, Amazing You by Ham Dong-gun on 5115 kHz, Mail Ge Dawa by Sojin on 6310 kHz, and the best one in my opinion, Sandanun Gon by Hong Jin Young. Strangely enough, 4925 kHz is the only frequency of V24 to not play any K-pop song. Instead, it played a classical music piece by Antonin Dvorak. Hopefully I pronounced that right. At one point, the station even played an Avril Lavigne song for some reason. Now, I don't exactly know why the station's operators went with pop music to start off its broadcasts, but it might be because to make it sound less disturbing compared to other number stations? Well, to me, it does sound less disturbing, but a lot more bizarre and fascinating. They at least didn't go with something that sounds much creepier. Earlier, for unknown reasons, V24 halted transmissions completely in June 2015. Later, in the end of November, strangely and unexpectedly, the station broadcast a song by a very well-known K-pop girl group in a 36-hour loop. The song was broadcast simultaneously on two of V24's frequencies. The station then resumed regular broadcasts in February of the following year, in its last format. As long as you have a time machine or something, you're free to listen to this in real time, because the station might have completely ceased broadcasting by the end of 2020, when it was last heard. Again, even this time, the reason behind the station's closure remains a mystery to this day, but it's important to know that all good things must come to an end. V15, its northern counterpart, has also been inactive, and currently there are only a few number of such stations that are still active. I listen to number stations not because I want to get nightmares every time I sleep, but they fascinate me due to their bizarre and unnerving nature, and that I'm interested in mysteries. I had history with number stations ever since I first listened to them when I was approximately 11 years old, after discovering them from a top 10 video. Gotta say, I was definitely spooked at first, but the more I listened to number stations, the less creepier they've become to me. Now, as a way to traditionally end this video, I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. I'm thinking of making more content like this as I've been inspired to do so after watching similar videos. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys when I have the opportunity to do so. And as always, peace.